Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where the goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. Kind of stumbled my way through that one. So today we're doing mindset, and the title is Fact or Fiction. So I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. So back in 2012, actually before that, before 2012, I was doing a deadlift competition with some friends, and we were trying to see who could do the most reps with 440 pounds. So I was not the strongest in the group, so I knew I wasn't going to win, but I also didn't want to be like the weakest in the group and like do a pathetic effort. So I believe I did about 14 or so reps, and around 14, I felt something kind of go in my back, and it just didn't feel right. Kind of felt weird. I felt this kind of like a burn, and then everything got real tight, and everything got kind of crappy. And it turned out that I slipped a disc in my back because my form was pretty shit. So, and you could see down, like I've had it scanned before, like had an x-ray done, and everything is in line in my back, and then all of a sudden, around my lumbar spine area, there's a disc that just kind of like sticks out to the left a little bit. So it actually is a slipped disc. So some people have argued that you can't slip a disc. Well, you can physically see it in the x-ray, and it is sticking out to the left. So I've had a lot of nerve injuries, like issues with that, and in correspondence with that, later on, so I forget exactly what year that happened. It might have been like 2008 or 9 or somewhere around there. And then later in 2012, I was meeting a friend to do a squat workout, and this is back when I was training 50 hours of like incline people, like in-person people every week. So I'd be training, say, like 8 to 10 hours a day. So I had my last meal and kind of regular food and sit down was around noon, and I was meeting this friend at 7 p.m. for a workout. So I remember I finished with my client from 6 to 7, kind of went in my office, grabbed an energy drink as if that was going to do a damn thing. Ran out, and they had already started warming up the squat, so I kind of jumped in with them. And I remember I got to the bottom of a lightweight squat. It was like 300 something pounds. And it just felt like I sunk like an extra like inch or two lower than normal. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, So I went through the workout, tried my best, and everything just kind of fell a little off. And here it turns out I tore some muscles. So I tore my left groin, my left hamstring. Now, it was either my left or my right hamstring. I kind of forget which one it was. Oh, no, it was left groin, right hamstring, and my left QL, so which is a lower back muscle. So I tore some stuff, and that's what you get for working out dehydrated. And I remember in the process of everything, some of those muscles had been responsible for kind of helping me brace and control my lower back health. So when I had those 3 tears, plus that slipped disc, it led to some pretty intense misery. So remember, I had daily back pain every single day, all day for 14 months. So, ugh. So, and I mean, it was legitimate. Like, if I picked up a 45-pound plate to help put, like, the plate on a leg press for a client, it would hurt my back. So it was that sensitive all day, every day for 14 months. And I remember in part of that process was I told my parents is, hey, I'm going to have to change what I'm doing at my job. So I own the business and I own everything, but I still like to run past my parents, like ideas and stuff. So they both have their own businesses whenever they used to be in their regular jobs. So they have since retired and brought on new jobs. But they used to own their own businesses as well. So I kind of like to get their opinion on things. So I told them that, hey, due to my health, I'm going to have to make some changes. So I pushed all my clients to later in the day, and I didn't accept clients for the first couple hours of the day so I could do some therapy. So, excuse me, I did 2 hours every morning of stretch therapy and rehab-based like bodyweight yoga stuff and whatnot, and core strengthening like breathing drills. And I did that for 30 days in a row. So it was 60 hours in 1 month of therapy. And that got me back to where I could do like single leg squats, like on slide boards and stuff like that, walking lunges. It got me up to where I could use kind of my body weight for bigger exercises. And I eventually started getting back to like barbell squats and deadlifts and stuff. But I remember it still took me an extra year or two to where I would take like 40 minutes to kind of get my body warmed up, get braced. I would go, and it would take me 40 minutes to warm up to be able to do about 3 to 5 singles on squats. And then after that, my body was so absolutely miserably in pain that I'd often get sick and throw up, and I'd spend like another 20 to 40 minutes just kind of laying on the floor in my office just before I could catch myself and kind of get back to normal. So I did that for a good while. It was like 6 months to a year. So that was a big, long time where I had kind of like, it was a good, maybe 2.5 years where I just struggled to kind of do anything remotely decent with my lower body. And I remember before that injury, I could squat 600 in sleeves. And then after all that ordeal, after those 2.5 years or so, I remember I got back up to doing, I did a 585 pretty well and wanted to do a 600 at a competition that I'd signed up for. Well, I went to the competition, and unfortunately, long story very short, is the warm-up area was kind of crowded, the temperature was off because the fat dudes kept keeping the door open, making it freezing cold in there. And we had kilogram plates, and no one knew what the hell they were doing in terms of trying to add up kilogram plates. So I was trying to get weights for everybody else as I was trying to take care of myself. It didn't work out well. And I remember by the time I got up to like a 500-pound squat, I'd only had the chance to do like 4 singles. So there was no warm-up really whatsoever. And I strained my right adductor on my last warm-up. Like my right adductor was really cramping. And I was like, shit, what the hell? So I kind of threw an ice pack on it and just tried to do my opener. And actually tore the right adductor under the opener. And then it led me to tearing my left vastus medialis, which is like your teardrop muscle down by your knee. So whenever my right adductor tore, all the weight shifted to my left side, and then that muscle tore. So that was kind of a big bummer. So that happened last October. So then I remember I started kind of like that day I went right to the gym. So I had my parents take me from the meet to the gym so I could start my rehab. And I started where I couldn't even do bodyweight squats. I was doing box squats to like 10 inches above parallel, it felt like. And I started over again. So in that process of that rehab, I'm now back up to a 500-pound squat pretty easily. The hard part now is not actually the weight load, it's trying to feel even. So in the process of tearing that right adductor, and I had some old other injuries where I detached the right hamstring, and just trying to relearn what it feels like to squat even. So trying to trust my body position. So I'm back up to a 500, and I'm working my way back to 600. So that is a little bit of the journey I've been through in the last 7 to 8 years in my squats. So it's been an up and down roller coaster, and what has helped is kind of finding a balance between the facts of the situation I was in, but then also telling myself necessary lies. So hence the title of Fact or Fiction. So what I wanted to make this podcast for was to kind of talk about motivation and how do we stay motivated in tough times. So one of the things I focused on, like one of the facts I focused on, is I'm only 35 years old. So I still have 30 years that I plan on lifting weights or more. So I train people who are in their 60s and 70s all the time. And so I still have another 30 years to go. So if it takes me, a year or two to rehab an injury, that's a small things. That's not very significant in the bigger picture. So I would much rather take my time, invest into the pain of the rehab, than to, at 35 years old, already become the guy who talks about what he used to be able to do. That's bullshit. I'm not doing that. So I still got room to improve. I still have plenty of time to improve. So no matter how defeated I feel on one individual day of my rehab process, when there have been some shit days, there have been days I've actually cried. There have been days where I got so damn frustrated I just left the gym. There have been days that were absolutely horrible in terms of trying to handle this rehab process. And one of the facts that I've relied on that kept me motivated was the fact that I still have 30-some years of lifting ahead of me if I correct this issue. If I hide from the issue, if I'm not strong enough mentally to address this issue now, it's just going to be with me for the next 30 years. It's going to hold me back for the next 30 years. And I'll never truly get to see what potential I was able to achieve. So the fact of my age has helped me. Okay? Another fact I put together was I know how to fix it. So I have had 17 muscle tears which does not sound good. But there's 17 different muscles. So I've never torn the same muscle twice. The only times I've ever negatively impacted the same muscle is when I strained it during a rehab part. So I might have torn it, and then maybe like 8 weeks into rehab, I tested something and I really kind of strained it and tweaked it and had to pull back out of it. But out of the muscles I've torn, I've been able to bring them back and bring them back stronger than they were before. Now, you might say, what the hell, this guy's torn 17 muscles, he must not know what the hell he's doing. Well, that's a valid concern. But the fact that I've never torn the same muscle twice tells you I do know how to fix them. So I've fixed them and not messed them up again. And then also, just this year, I kind of learned some interesting facts. For my entire life, I had surgery when I was a child on my throat. I had some issues that led to me sleeping on my stomach with my head to the right. That's the only position I could sleep in and still be able to breathe. So, due to the shape of my throat after the surgery. So my throat's kind of like a corkscrew. So, ever since I could remember, this would be like when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I've never slept more than 2 hours at one time. So I'd always kind of like have trouble breathing. I'd wake up coughing, or like you'd snore so loud or your throat would close off that you'd wake up in a panic. I would just always sleep about an hour and a half, like about 60, 90 minutes. I'd wake up, have to go to the bathroom, or you just kind of like feel unsettled, your heart is racing, and kind of like it takes you another 20, 30 minutes to get calmed down, then you fall back asleep. So that's how I've been sleeping my entire life. And it wasn't until this year that, I know this sounds completely insane, but it wasn't until this year that I actually learned that actually wasn't very normal. So I had to have, threw up blood one morning and ended up going to the ER and got looked at, and they found out what was going on was when I would sleep on my stomach, it was the only position for my airway, but the pressure on my stomach would cause the valve that is supposed to hold your stomach acid into your stomach, it would cause that to pop open, or push open. So I would get stomach acid up into my throat, it would burn, I would end up coughing or choking on it, I'd breathe it in, and that's why I'd often wake up in a panic or in some kind of weird state. So it found out that I had to make some corrections, get some medication and whatnot, and I'm a little bit better now. So, but that was part of the reason why I've had a lot of tears, is for my entire life, I've never slept more than 60, 90 minutes at one go. So if I had one night where I slept like, say, 6 hours that night, it would actually have only been about like 3.5 to 4 hours in total. So I've always had some sleeping issues, which is going to impair some recovery. So that is part of my history and my journey, but those are the facts that I relied on, was that number one, I was still young, I still had plenty of time ahead of me, and number two, I knew how to fix my issues. So I'd torn muscles in the past, but never tore the same thing twice. So I knew once I'd torn it, I knew how to fix it and it would be healthy afterwards. So those are the facts that I had to rely on to keep myself motivated. But I also had to tell myself some lies. So I had to get into some fiction. And some of the lies I told myself was that if I could do this and other people can watch and see the journey that I've overcome, that maybe it'll motivate them to do it for themselves too. So we all have kind of heard of that type of kind of motivation where you try to do it to motivate somebody else. And in turn, you're using that to try to motivate yourself. So that was one of the things I told myself. Another was that if I could do well through this rehab process and I could get back up to bigger numbers, then it might help grow the gym. It'll help grow my business. So if people could see that I knew what it took to become, a good lifter again, that maybe I could help them through their injuries. And what I found out was that's been true all the years, is I actually like working with people who are injured because you get to give them the gift of lifting again, give them the gift of exercise again. So I recently had a client get in touch with me who, we started working together for powerlifting, but they ran into some adrenal fatigue issues. And they had known it in the past before we met, and kind of like just hoped that they could train through it or train around it. And when they found out they couldn't, they messaged me saying they were sorry, that they didn't tell me ahead of time, and that they would understand if I were to, say, drop them as a client. And I thought that was, I knew where they were coming from, but I felt it was so sad that they thought somebody would abandon them just because they had this temporary issue. And I told them that, hey, I'm not a kind of coach that's just going to say, well, if you're injured, I'm not working with you because it's going to make me look bad. Screw that shit. I don't care what I look like, in that degree. So I'm here to help people. That's what I signed up for this for. That's what I wanted to do. So, and she was somebody who needed help. So I absolutely 1,000,000% was happy to work with her still. And that's been something that's been a motivator for me as well. So I kind of told myself that, through my journey, I can motivate others. Through my journey, I can grow the business. Through this journey, I'll now know more on how to help anyone else who has a similar issue. So I've torn like the meniscus in my right knee before. It took me 8 months to work through that. No surgery whatsoever. There's no pain anymore. But there was a shit ton of pain when I was working through it. But I rehabbed it, forced my way through to push through the range of motions. And then all of a sudden, what do you know? Like I started meeting people with meniscus issues, and I was able to help them. So that's been something that's helped me a lot, is knowing that if I get in a pain, I can take what I've learned and maybe hopefully someday save someone else from that same pain. So that's something I hold on to. I also try to do it to motivate myself, like to see if I'm tough enough to overcome this issue. So anytime you think you're tough, you get something coming at you. You're only as tough as the hardest challenge you've ever overcome, if that makes sense. So as much as I don't want to run into too much stress and trouble in my life, you need to have some, because that's the only way you're going to get tough in life. So this injury of this issue of working through all these squat-related injuries has been something that's let me learn how tough I really can be. So I also took on a diet during the process. Tried to make sure I could kind of clean myself up. Since I knew I wasn't lifting as heavy as often, I had to kind of clean up my food so that way I could kind of stay a little bit leaner. I also kind of renewed old bodybuilding techniques. I used to bodybuild for 10 years and thought it was super fun to get back into some of those techniques. So since I couldn't lift very heavy, I tried to make the light weights feel more productive and more fun. And then I basically just used it to create other purposes. So the truths I had to tell myself that motivated me was I was still young. I still have 30 years ahead of me, easy. Why not invest in 1 or 2 years and just get this fixed? I still have the fact that I know how to fix it. So since I've been through this before, I can fix this one and move on like I have with the other ones. But I did have to tell myself some lies, so that you hope are true, but they're essentially they're not fact. So whether I make it through this and if it motivates somebody else, that's not a fact. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hope it's going to happen. So I create like that. I create that hope. So I also do it to grow the business, to prove how tough I am. I took on a diet. I took on other training styles. So you kind of create all these storylines around the facts. So I have the facts of my age. I have the facts of I know how to fix it. But I have the extra storyline of doing it to motivate others, doing it to build myself up, doing it to revamp old bodybuilding techniques, see if I can read and learn new ways and build upon that knowledge. So I had kind of this issue that I needed to find a way to overcome. I used a combination of facts and fiction to create a storyline that motivated me to overcome it. So, what is holding you back in life? What are you trying to overcome? Doesn't even have to be a health-related issue, but for a lot of people listening to this, it's going to be trying to eat healthy, trying to train on a regular basis. Maybe you want to compete in a sport at a higher level. Maybe you want to compete in general, but then also maybe you compete already, but you want to step up to the next level. So you already do some aesthetic shows, but maybe you want a pro card. So think to yourself is, what am I trying to overcome? What's my goal? And what lies are you telling yourself that are getting in the way? So do you tell yourself you're too old? Do you tell yourself you're not experienced enough? Do you tell yourself you're not mentally strong enough? Or do you tell yourself that you don't have enough time in your day to do what's needed to reach that goal? So those are the lies you're telling yourself. And yes, they're lies. Okay? So let's look at the facts of things. So you say you're too old. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. My mom never touched a weight till she was 47 years old. She's now 61 and she's as strong as she's ever been. So she squatted 264 in a competition. She can bench 135. She could deadlift over 300 pounds. She only weighs like 130 some pounds, and she's like 5'2", so she's tiny, but she's strong as hell. So I had a lady who I work with twice a week. She lifts weights to overcome rheumatoid arthritis, and she didn't start till she was in her 60s. But she's off most of her medications. She's outside in the yard doing manual labor all the time now, and like feeling like $1 million so she can finally move again. Whereas when we first met, she had days where she'd just spend the whole damn day in bed. Or maybe her big adventure was getting out of bed, getting into a chair, and reading a book, because that's all she could muster that day. So I just had a lady this morning call me who's in her 70s and said she wants to come into the gym to work on her arms. So that's freaking badass. I love those kind of people. So if you think you're too old for your goal, you are full of shit. Absolutely 100%. Okay? So you need to quit telling yourself that lie, and you need to recognize the fact of you are not dead yet. If you're not dead, you're not too old. Okay? If you're not dead, that means you can still do efforts to reach that goal. Yeah, okay, maybe I'm 70 if I want to win a pro card. Can I do that? Actually, yes, they do have pro cards for 70-year-olds. But are you going to have that body that you wanted to have when you were in your 20s? No, it ain't going to happen. But you can get closer to it rather than sitting where you are now and bitching and whining about how old you are and never make a change whatsoever. Why not make some positive change and get some fun out of the goal rather than sitting there in your bullshit lie and sorrow of thinking you're too old for stuff? If you're not dead, you're not too old. Okay? Now, what about the lie of, oh, I'm not experienced enough? So maybe I'm a young trainer who, like, you want to get into training and maybe you love training, but you don't think you're experienced enough. Or you want to open up your own business, but you don't think you're experienced enough. I'll tell you firsthand, you don't have to have any experience to open a business. I didn't know shit when I opened this gym, and luckily I survived. But you don't have to have a ton of experience. You just have to have freaking work ethic. You have to have the desire and the willingness to learn what is needed and move on, okay? Every single person you've ever met in your entire life started their journey with whatever they might be an expert in without knowing a damn thing, okay? When I was 15 years old, I wanted to lose fat and I wanted to build muscle. So I thought I would do 250 sit-ups a night and 250 push-ups every night. I thought the sit-ups would somehow lose fat off my belly and the push-ups would just automatically make my muscles grow. I had no clue that food was important. I didn't know food was what made your muscles grow. I just thought the act of lifting weights made muscles grow. I was an idiot. So I'm still an idiot in certain ways, but that's what I started with experience-wise. I didn't know a damn thing at all. And I still have flashes of times where I don't think I know a damn thing now. So it's kind of funny. But everyone you've ever met, every expert, every single expert in the world started knowing nothing. Okay? I promise you probably know a little more than nothing. Okay? So you've already started your journey a little bit, but everyone started from there. So if you say, I don't have enough experience, at one point in time, everyone didn't have enough experience. But they kept working at it and they built their experience. So get rid of that stupid bullshit lie of not having enough experience. Okay? That's where everyone started. If you say to yourself, well, I'm not mentally strong enough. Bullshit. You've done a bunch of things that prove you have mental strength. So how many years have you showed up to work when you didn't want to? Okay? You know you need money in your bank account, so you show up to work. Well, you know you need health in your health account, so you should show up to the gym. It's the same damn thing. You don't have to want to go to the gym. You don't want to go to work every day and you still show up, right? Well, it's the same thing. So I've met clients before who told me that they weren't strong enough to do a diet, but yet they had a history of giving up smoking, which is reportedly one of like the hardest things in the world to ever do. And then they tell me they couldn't eat a carrot for lunch every day. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. Like, you are so strong, it's ridiculous. Think about females. You ladies who have been through pregnancy, the mental toughness to go through pregnancy is, that's something I'll never understand. Because first of all, I can't get pregnant. Plus, it's just something that being a male, I'm never going to really experience that. I'm not going to know firsthand. But you can see from the external how miserable that process is, and yet you're feeling all the internal stuff too. So if you've had a kid, you are plenty freaking strong enough to train and eat right, okay? So people have strengths in certain areas of their life. And the beautiful part about strength is it's applicable to all areas. So if you are strong in one area, you can learn to become strong in another. You are a strong person. You just have to apply that strength in a new way. That's it. Okay? It's already there. Your strength is already there. You just have to learn how to apply it in the different realm. That's it. Okay? So when you say to yourself, I'm not mentally strong enough, bullshit. Yes, you are. And the last one, I don't have enough time, you're absolutely full of shit. 100,000,000%. Everyone is full of shit, myself included, when we say we don't have time. You definitely do have time. It's how you choose to spend your time. So I've had a client who had two jobs, had 6 daughters, still got ready for an aesthetic competition. 3 times. 3 times. Okay? I helped a lady get a pro card who had 4 kids, had an online job that kept her pretty dang busy, and she still had figured out ways to get all of her meals in. She still got 2-a-day sessions in. So one time was at the gym, one time was at her garage, but she made it work. Okay? So she got a pro card with 4 kids, working an online job, having a husband that you have to build and nurture a relationship with. So people can do it. It's just how bad do you want it? So when you say you don't have time, you are 100% full of shit. You are lying. Okay? You have time. It's how you're choosing to spend your time that's getting you in trouble. Every single person on this planet has the exact same amount of time per day. What makes some people successful and not others is energy and time management. What are they willing to give up for their goals? What are they not willing to give up? And absolutely, overwhelmingly, most of the time, you don't have to give up anything significant. You just have to give up watching an hour of TV a day or more. Give up searching over social media for an hour or more a day. Okay? You have to be more disciplined with how you handle your free time. You have to be more disciplined with when you go to bed, with when you wake up. You just have to manage your 24 hours better than you're managing them right now. So when you say you don't have time, you are full of shit. Shut up with that excuse. Let that go right now. Because if you don't think you're going to have time right now, guess what? You're never going to have time. At no point in time in your life do you get granted more minutes in your day. Never. Ever, ever, ever. So if you have not met your goal right now, and you have the excuse of I don't have time, you will never meet your goal. If you feel like a loser now because you don't believe you have time, you will be a loser for the rest of your life. Get rid of that bullshit excuse. Absolute bullshit. Now, I don't care how mad you are at me for repeating this over and over again. It's absolute bullshit that you don't have time. Oh, I have kids. I have a job. You don't understand. Bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Everybody has jobs. Everybody has kids. Everybody has shit they have to overcome. Okay? Some people just choose to actually overcome it rather than rely on some bullshit excuse. Okay? So, what are the lies that you're telling yourself? And what are the facts? The facts are you can overcome anything you choose to overcome. You just have to make the choice. Yes, it's that simple. Yes, that'll piss people off. I don't care. It's not my job to make it nice. It's my job to tell you the truth. Okay? So, that's what you got to look at. Your life is a story. Okay? Or are you the narrator just saying what's going on? Or are you the author creating what's going on? Okay? Or are you believing the fiction, the lies you tell yourself, when you should be believing the facts? And when the facts don't add up and they don't look all rosy, what are the lies you sometimes have to tell yourself to keep moving? We all have to play that game. We all have to do that. Okay? It's your choice to play along. It's your choice to take control.